Hello everyone, this is Sam from Language Atlas, and in this video I'd like to show you the French A2 vocabulary Anki deck. In this video we will go over three things. First, I'd like to show you the course structure of the French A2 vocabulary Anki deck. Second, I'd like to show the course content, and I'll do so by looking at three Anki decks within the overall French A2 vocabulary Anki deck. And third, I'd like to show you some brief editing options. So let's get started with the first point, which is to show the course structure. Normally you double click on Anki deck to open it. However, I've already done so, as you can see right over here. The French A2 vocabulary Anki deck has 8 chapters: pronouns, conjunctions, verbs, nouns, adjectives, adverbs, prepositions, and determiners. Now, if you go to chapter 4 nouns, you can see that there's a little plus icon in front of it. If you click it, we can see that there are 20 subdecks inside it. They range from academia and intellect, animals, arts and entertainment, all the way to time, maths and numbers, and transportation. Now what I've done is I've taken a look at all the nouns that are in chapter 4, and I've categorized them on theme. So if you wish to learn more about clothing and fashion, you can do so. If you wish to learn more about materials and substances, you can do so. If you wish to learn more about society and economy, you can do so. You can study by theme and learn the vocabulary associated to that theme. That was what I want to show you for my first point, which is the course structure. Now I'd like to go to my second point, which is to show the course content. And I'll do so by having a look at 3 Anki decks: home within chapter 4 nouns, chapter 5 adjectives, and chapter 3 verbs. Now we don't have enough time to go over all 8 chapters, but I do believe that just showing you these 3 Anki decks is already enough to ensure that you have a good overview of what to expect when you get the French A2 vocabulary Anki deck. I'll start with home. Click on study now, and this is what we see. We see in the beginning a French sentence with 2 underscores, and it is our job to know what goes over here. Underneath that, we have the English translation of the French sentence. All her makeup is stored in a case, and we have to know what a case is in French. And over here, we have a picture. Now, why is this here? We need a visual representation of the French sentence. And many studies have shown that if you have such a visual representation, an image, for example, you will be able to better remember the words, you'll be better be able to remember the sentences. So all in all, it's very good for you to have an image over here. So let's have a look. What is a case in French?
Tout son maquillage est rangé dans un boîtier. Le boîtier, un boîtier. Les boîtiers, des boîtiers.
Now, I'd like to start with this first area over here. This is what I like to call the sentence area. You see right over here, we have the French sentence, and over here, we have the answer that we were looking for. Now, what's interesting is that this answer is in blue. Now, why is that? That's because French is a gendered language. All masculine nouns are blue, and all feminine nouns are pink. Now, this is so you can better remember the gender of nouns. So whenever you see a noun, you will always have it color-coded, which will allow you to better remember the gender of the noun. Now, underneath the French sentence, we have the IP notation of the French sentence. And this is here so you can better pronounce the French sentence. I use it myself as well at times, and I think it's very interesting. I think it's very useful. And I urge you to, if you think it's useful as well, use it. Underneath that, we have the English sentence, which is essentially translation of the French sentence. And if you click on this, we have the audio icon.
Tout son maquillage est rangé dans un boîtier.
And of course, if you click on the audio icon, you can hear the sentence again. Now, this is the singular noun area. Over here, we have the singular noun in its definite form and its indefinite form. Over here, we have the IPA notation. And finally, we have the translation. If you click on this, we can hear the audio.
Le boîtier, un boîtier.
If you look at the third area, we can see that we have the plural form, we have the IPA notation, and we have the English translation. Finally, if you click on this, we can hear the audio.
Les boîtiers, des boîtiers.
Let's do another sentence. To get to the 3rd floor, you have to take the stairs. How do you say the stairs?
Pour accéder au 3e étage, il faut prendre les escaliers. L'escalier, un escalier. Les escaliers, des escaliers.
Great. So, same setup as we've seen before. No big surprises, I would say. Let's do another one. Set the cream aside in the fridge while waiting for the end of the cooking. How do you say the fridge?
Réserver la crème dans le réfrigérateur en attendant la fin de la cuisson. Le réfrigérateur, un réfrigérateur. Les réfrigérateurs, des réfrigérateurs.
Wonderful. Now again, you see a setup is constantly the same. However, we've been dealing with a few masculine nouns. Now I'd like to go to a feminine noun. You don't have to eat couscous with a fork. How do you say a fork?
Tu n'es pas obligé de manger le couscous avec une fourchette. La fourchette, une fourchette. Les fourchettes, des fourchettes.
So, we have seen the setup before. However, what is interesting over here is that une fourchette, a fork in French, is feminine. And because it's feminine, it is noted here in pink. So, as you've seen before, masculine nouns in blue, feminine nouns in pink. Now, I'd like to show you the second card type. Now, the first card type was about seeing a sentence and knowing what goes inside the blank area. The second card type is about actually spelling. So, second card type spells if you actually know the correct answer. So, I am going to spell the correct answer over here. Let's have a look.
Tout son maquillage est rangé dans un boîtier. Le boîtier, un boîtier. Les boîtiers, des boîtiers.
Great. So, as you can tell, I had the answer correctly, and because I had it correctly, it shows up in green. However, what if I do not know the answer at all? Let's say I do something like this.
Pour accéder au 3e étage, il faut prendre les escaliers. L'escalier, un escalier. Les escaliers, des escaliers.
Now, as you can tell, I was really close. However, I made one mistake in the end. Instead of using an S, I used a D. Now, Anki shows us which part we had correct, which is the part in green. However, what we had incorrect, it shows us in red. So I shouldn't have used the D. And underneath it, we see the correct answer, which is shown in gray. So the second card type really shows whether you can spell the answer correctly. And if I were to continue, there would be more typing exercises. So now I'd like to go to chapter 5, adjectives. I'd like to click on study now. Let's do an adjective. She has been worried since he left. How do you say worried?
Elle est inquiète depuis qu'il est parti. Inquiet, inquiète. Inquiet, inquiète.
Now, this is what's interesting about the French language. Adjectives are gendered as well. So I mentioned before that this is the singular area and this is the plural area. Well, this is the singular masculine adjective, this is the singular feminine adjective, this is the plural masculine adjective, and this is the plural feminine adjective. So depending on what function it has, singular, plural, masculine, feminine, the adjective changes as well. But what is good is that this Anki deck shows you all the different variations, so you can study them as well, and you can look at the pronunciation. So whether it's being IPA, whether it is in audio, you can know exactly how to pronounce the adjectives. He got his heart broken. How do you say broken?
Il a eu le cœur brisé. Brisé, brisé. Brisé, brisé.
And what's interesting about this is that pronunciation is the same, but the spelling is different. So this is again a big advantage of this deck. You can see the words, you can see the pronunciation via the IPA notation, of course. You can hear it as well. So it's really useful. This is the outside wall of the building. Outside.
C'est le mur extérieur du bâtiment. Extérieur, extérieur. Extérieur, extérieur.
And there you have it. Now, I could continue long enough, and at a certain point we would get to the typing exercises as well. But you've already seen that. So now I'd like to go to chapter 3, verbs. Study now, and we'll have a look at verbs. You have to hit the ball with all your might. How do you say to hit?
Il faut frapper le ballon de toutes tes forces. Frapper.
Now, same setup, sentence, verb, but what's interesting is that all the verbs that you see in this Anki deck and also other vocabulary decks are noted in the full verb form, sometimes called the infinitive form. Why is this relevant? If you want to learn how to conjugate things, if you want to learn how to put things in different sentences, first you have to know what the full verb is. And then based on that full verb, a lot of changes happen. but that full verb form, that infinitive, is incredibly important. However, you can see all the different infinitives, all the different full verb forms in here. You'll receive a letter from your family abroad. Receive.
Tu vas recevoir une lettre de ta famille qui habite à l'étranger. Recevoir.
To receive. You have to be careful with fire, it can burn easily.
Il faut être prudent avec le feu, il peut facilement brûler. Brûler.
And last one, he will complain about the quality of service in his hotel.
Il va se plaindre de la qualité du service dans cet hôtel. Se plaindre.
And there you go again, in the infinitive form. And again, I could continue, but then I would end up with the typing exercise, which is this one. So those were the 3 decks that I wanted to show you. I will now go to my third point, which is to show you some brief editing options. And I will talk about how to regulate the amount of cards that you see every day. So if you click on this little icon over here and you go to options, you can see daily limits. See new cards per day and reviews per day. New cards per day regulates how many new cards you see every day, and the maximum reviews per day regulates how many cards you have to do again. So a review. You can increase this to 50 if you want to, and we can increase the reviews to 50 as well if you wish to do as well. I can click on save, and you can see that the amount of cards has changed. Now I can decrease this as well if I wish to do so, from 50 to 20, from 50 to 20. I can click on save, and that is that. So that's simple. My advice to you would be to start with a low amount. 20, I think, is a good amount. Why is this the case? Well, if you want to learn a language, the most important thing is that you create a habit for yourself and stick to it. And this is easier to do so if you start with a lower amount rather than a higher amount. Of course, if you've gotten good rhythm, of course, you can increase the amount of cards that you do every day. So that was it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. You can get the French A2 vocabulary deck at languageatlas.com. I will share all the links in the description and comment section. I wish you the best of luck when it comes to learning the French language. And of course, I wish you a very good day as well. Goodbye.